502 p.m. Would you please stand for the pledge of
Sit down
allegiance?
and the mayor stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda tonight is Wilson. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Hyde, present. Ms. Richardson, present. Mr. Wilson. Mr. Provo. And Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to approve the previous minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the previous minutes from November? So moved by Mr. Wilson. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Hyde.
Ms. Richardson? Yes. Mr. Provo?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson? And Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I have one question on the minutes. Does it need to reflect that Shannon was in my stead on that night, somewhere in here?
Yes, it is in the superintendent's report and also in the executive team.
All right, any recognition of any special guests or special announcements for tonight?
I have none. No, no recognition.
All right, we're up to our superintendent's report.
All right, I am going to open up the superintendent's report a little different tonight because I want to give a presentation on the proposed bond. This is not, I repeat, not a vote. This is just an overview of what the plan is for the bond. We will call a special meeting the week of December 12th to decide on how to proceed with the bond. So I'm going to start with Ms. Thompson. I do apologize for not having this as a handout for you because it might be a little hard to read. And we will go through the report. Go ahead, Ms. Thompson. So we have held a series of meetings with members of the community, and then many of the board members, I think, have attended at least one. And I wanted to just give a quick overview for some of you that may not have made that meeting. The first one is just an update over the previous bond expenditures. And so if you recall, under my tenure, we have passed a bond in 2015, 2018, and 2020. The most recent was the MAP, which is the storm shelter that was completed last March, somewhere, last year. The multi-sport, which was completed a little over a year and a half ago. And then campus improvements, which the high school is one of them. Campus improvements in the East Campus and the Mila campus. Those upgrades consisted of new lighting, new flooring, new HVAC, lighting, flooring, okay. So that essentially has been the bulk of the campus that we occupied in the Mila building, the East Campus building, and here in the high school. I'm coming tonight to talk about the need for a new bond. The first reason is because of enrollment. We currently service just over 1,100 students, and we service them primarily in 3 main buildings on this end of the campus, and Langston occupies the far south building. That is because when I came in about 10 years ago, we spread out all over the campus, and we didn't really have the enrollment to support us being in 4 separate buildings. And so we consolidated into the 3. Langston was looking for a temporary home, and we were able to provide that. In that time, over the course of this last 10 years, enrollment has started to increase quite a bit. Last year was the first time we added a pre-K class. We used to only service 2 classes of 20. Last year we added a third, which might sound like adding 20 kids is not that big of a deal, but really what you add is 20 cars. Because pre-K kids don't ride the bus, somebody drops them off. So you add traffic every time you add little bitty kids, which started to work against our parking and pick up and drop off capacity. Also, over the last 2 years, we have been trending, especially since the state has changed its ability to transfer at any time during the year. The number of transfers that have come into us over the past 2 years, last year was around 300. This past year, last year, I mean the 2021 school year, is that right? Yeah, 2021 school year was a little over 300, like 310 kids. This past year was 375. Last year, of the 310 kids, we were able to take about 180. This past year, of the 375, we were able to take about 75. And what's happening is, it's great, when people get here, they stay. And we're pretty much busting at the seams. We're limited in the amount of programs that we can offer and support that other learning opportunities, after-school programs, enrichment programs that we can offer because we just don't have anywhere else to go. We've resorted pretty much to converting unused bathrooms at the high school to nursing offices and things just to make sure that we can meet the needs of the high school. And that's just where we are. The parking capacity is limited. Like I said, whenever we add more students, especially young students or transfer students, because if you are a transfer student, you don't ride our buses, which means that somebody drops you off. And so if you, I see my parents here who've had the pleasure of being in a pick up and drop off line in the morning. I think we got it down to pretty good science this year. It is still quite a feat to bring cars in and out in the morning and the afternoons. The kind of good news this year we were surprised about, honestly, is the middle and high school people, they can act quick. They haven't figured out, they've been here for a while. Elementary, it still takes a little while. And that's primarily because we don't let kids just walk out. The other rationale for the bond is our Langston partnership, at least our campus partnership, is ending. Langston has received a really generous gift from Channel 9 over on Kelly, on LaShawn Kelly, and they are gifting them that whole entire campus. And so they will be leaving us to go over to that campus. Perfect timing for us in that regard. Our partnership will still continue with them, but they will not be on our campus. And so those are the reasons that we're having to start to look for new funds. Not only because Langston's leaving, but Langston, when they came into the building 5 years ago, converted it to fit their needs. So even if I wanted to go down there, and I'll show you pictures here in a sec, many of those classrooms aren't suitable for children. They've turned them into offices, they put up partitions, they've added conference space. They're all temporary walls, but they all have to come down. In addition, because we weren't occupying that building when we passed the last 2 bond issues, we did not renovate that space for Langston. So that is still kind of the old school, you'll see the pictures. But we didn't renovate it because we weren't occupying it, but we did provide upkeep. So they have, up-to-date LED lighting. They have new HVAC in places wherever, HVAC died, we replaced that. So we still maintain the building, we just didn't upgrade it aesthetically. And so that's where we are with that. And this is an open meeting, so if anybody has questions, you can actually raise your hand in this part, and I can actually interact. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, sir.
So you said you're busting at the seams. You're saying that this, which seems to be quite a large campus, cannot hold the amount of children that want to the school?
Correct.
So, okay.
And the state actually has changed the law. They require us to put our capacity online, and they check our capacity. They have not started to check buildings to see if we're occupying all of our buildings, but they do require us to put capacity at every grade level, and we are over capacity at every single grade level except for our senior class.
How many students dropped in here?
We turned down about 310. Yes. Now, do we want to take all of them? That's a different conversation. For the current students that we service, we are still at capacity.
One reason, is we bought a house here recently, and it was a line item for Millwood School, which was more than our entire capital. And I've never seen anything like that. I went, wow. Is that those are from previous bonds? Is that what they're propane?
It would be based on the millage rate for our school district. So the only bond that would have raised taxes was the last one that went to build the MAC. The rest of them were just what you would normally pay.
Yeah, for me, it was shocking.
Well, which you probably, a little backstory to that, we are a 10 square mile district. And so the cost to manage this school district might be different from other places because we don't have a large bonding capacity. We don't receive tax revenues from Remington Park, the zoo, the Cowboy Hall of Fame, the Armory, the Science Center, the softball, all of those things that sit in our district, we don't receive any tax dollars from. They're all nonprofit.
But you do get the full amount that we pay, because when it says Millwood School,
If it says Millwood Schools, we receive that full amount, correct, that's your ad valorem. Am I saying that right? I have to speak to my expert over here.
Shocking those businesses don't contribute.
Welcome to our world. We say the same thing. I will say Remington Park and Chickasaw Nation, and I'll talk about this, actually leading me to the next point. So you say, we are a landlocked district, 10 square miles. We haven't had new roofs, new construction in regards to a neighborhood. It's been 30 years, and we have the space, but we haven't had new construction for lots of different reasons. And so when businesses come, do we have TIF funding in this area? We do not have TIF. The neighborhood does at least the neighbors fight the TIF. So we don't have any businesses that are coming and paying less except for Remington. Remington's the only one. Remington does provide, which is Chickasaw Nation, they do provide an annual gift of $125,000, and it comes in 2 different checks, one in December, one in June, and they will provide that every single year. And then they do also provide additional funding as needed. I can request things like they help us with buses for the football team, we gotta go far, or championship rings, things like that. They will kick in. But I have met recently with Chickasaw Nation for this very reason. I said I'm having to go back to the community and ask for dollars because the other kind of catch-22 for us is not only are we only 10 square miles and we have a small bonding capacity, we also have a small building fund. The building fund is the state dollars that are allocated to keep up with upgrades around the campus. So annually, we used to get around $350,000 or $320,000 for building upkeep in our building fund. Our maintenance contract alone was $275,000. So there's nothing. So everything from the roof to, HVAC, all of those things then have to come out of the general fund. And the general fund is where that's where we fund instruction. So without bond issues, we don't have the capacity to do the things that we need to do for our youth. So last year, the state did pass a law, I think it's called the Red Bud Fund, and it was really passed to help charter schools, but it ended up helping small school districts that did not have a large building fund. That added another $150,000. So it went up to around $400,000 that we now receive in the building fund, which is helpful, but still not enough, obviously, if a roof is damaged to help us that much. So, and if you see roof going on, that was a $4 million hill, thank Jesus. So all of our roofs have just been replaced on a $4 million hill. Yes, sir.
if you rebuild the building that's being vacated, how many more students would that building need?
Well, what that will do is actually, it wouldn't necessarily expand we could probably take another 200 kids. Yeah, about another 200 kids spread out over the district, yes. The area that would grow the most, the smallest school right now is our middle school. What do you at, like 240, 260? 260. He could be at 350, 400 easy. Everybody loves Mr. P. We have Mr. P. Most of the applications are to middle school. So that's just, we could be bigger, but he's totally at capacity in his building. So I sat down and met with Chickasaw Nation. They were generous enough to let me meet with their Secretary of State,
Secretary of State.
Mr. Nance, Bill Nance, and they have agreed to help us out with some other things. So if you can imagine, we can't manage, it's hard to manage the upkeep of the buildings, add to that sporting facilities. And so one of the things that I was really committed to when I came in is we will spend money on lots of things, but our athletic departments pretty much run themselves, thanks to Director Hayes over there. When we took it over, before we took it over, we were giving $25,000 a year from the Enrichment Foundation. Now Shannon keeps about a $200,000 balance, more money than me. So, but we worked really hard to do that he started a conference that gave us competitive schools that, where we can charge admission. And so, I mean, our middle school athletics has never made money. And now we can't even find a place to park at a middle school game. And so, we worked really hard to increase revenue where we can increase revenue. And so, I talked to Chickasaw Nation about helping us upgrade our athletic facilities. And so they made a generous donation of $400,000 to our softball field. We did receive donations for a baseball field 4 or 5 years ago now? 6. Goes fast. But we weren't able to upgrade the softball field at the same time. And so Chickasaw Nation has kicked in for that. They have also given a verbal indication that should we pass the bond, rather than us having to pay for a general contractor, which would be 8% of whatever our bond capacity is, they will pay dollars towards hiring an independent contractor to oversee it, because we're not building a building, it's just paint, walls, lighting, and flooring. And so a general contractor will be able to see it, so we don't need to go into 8% debt in order to make that happen. So they have indicated that they will support that. At every juncture we can, we utilize our partnership with Oklahoma County. Will Johnson, who was before Carrie Bloomer, they did a wonderful job. They saved us $400,000 on the map. They did all the dirt work for us. They will prep totally the softball field and move the dirt, do all of those things. They prepped our playground for us. Oklahoma County does everything that we need. They have the plans right now to go forward to the current softball field to turn that into a parking lot, back to parking capacity. Our goal is to create a sports complex on the north end of the campus, so that we have a parking lot that's just for athletics, and that way it doesn't feed into the main parking lot. So people that are coming to see their kids play don't have to interfere with people that are coming to pick up their kids from school, which is what's happening now. We have bus traffic, we have everything in that parking lot. So we're in need of another parking lot in Oklahoma County. They donate all of the labor, all we do is pay for asphalt, that's it. And so a $400,000 parking lot costs us $50,000. So we definitely leverage that everywhere we can. And then Cimarron Construction, Fields and Futures. Fields and Futures is a nonprofit that was chartered for Oklahoma City Public Schools, but the founder just really took interest in us at a baseball game. He could figure out why we weren't better at baseball. He said, we own a baseball field, so he actually built that baseball field. They do the same thing. They don't charge us for labor, they just charge us for materials. And so they are the people that will build the softball field for us. That's a good thing. And maybe we've stretched it out long enough that construction prices are going back down, so I'm not paying 3 times the cost for a cinder block, hopefully. But right now, the cost of the baseball field, when we built it, was about $375,000. The softball field is gonna cost me, which is not even the same size, sports, is gonna cost about $650,000, which is just crazy, but it's just what it is. So, concrete's higher, cinder blocks are higher, everything. But all of those will be privately raised funds. Those will not be bond funds that I use on that. So, so that's what we're doing in regards to seeking out other sources of funding. So just so that the community knows I'm not only asking you all for money, I ask everybody for money. Questions about that? No, we have not. And correct. That, it will change, yes, on the current bond. Yes, it will add to it. Correct. I am correct on that, right, John? Yes. Now, and having said that, let me be clear. You never really pay off the bond. You never pay off the bond. The bond, the only thing you might pay off is the increase in taxes on the bond. You will pay bond every year, no matter what. That's just how the state funds schools. So my job as superintendent is to come to you and tell you how I'm going to spend what you're already going to pay. And then, if it's going to cost you more, that's what I share with you. Does that make sense? Yeah, so it's never going away. Even if I don't come and ask you for anything for 10 years, when this one expires, you will still be paying bond. We have finished everything and some. Yes, that's where I started with, when I talked about those three areas. But yes, we finished everything. We finished everything, and we have a little bit left over. That's how we were able to do the high school. So we finished everything. And all three of them. The first one was small in 2015. That was kind of the fascia in the front. The second one was really big. That was the interior of the elementary, the interior of the middle school, and the building of the locker room, what we call the multi-sport. But that was the outdoor locker room, and that was a Title IX issue. By the way, the softball field's a Title IX issue too. I can't have a nice baseball field and a shabby softball field. And when we built the multi-sport, we had an outdoor boys locker room with no outdoor girls locker room. So that was an equalizer. But we've done everything we said we do. Oh, the roof is, yes, they're working on it now. But the only roof that was in the bond was the elementary. What they're working on now is a hill thing. Like all of our roofs are damaged. Every single roof across the campus has been changed out. The last one, I think it's about the last one. Come on, look at it. It's just Mila. We're finishing up Mila, which is the elementary in the front. But everything else. Well, it's because it was a brand new roof that got damaged. So they've been in the elementary 2 years ago to put the new roof on, and now they're going back to replace it because it was damaged. Yeah, I've been working on roofs for a while. Other questions? Board members, anything I leave out? All right. So what I do is I meet with our bond person, our financer, and he gives me options, and I take those out, and we try to find the best option, lowest price, but also one that does what we need to do. So the building that needs to be renovated is 66,000 square feet, which is the one on the south end. Now, about 8,000 of that is the gym, and so I took out the gym, I'm just under 60,000 square feet. The cost of renovations is right around $100 per square foot. So you can see that what I'm trying to get is $6 million. In order to get $6 million, the bond vote would have to call for an $8,295,000 bond to just yield $6 million. And that's because the fees and the costs and the fine print, those things. That would raise our millage rate to about 39.25. Right now, our millage rate sits at right about 32. that's the average, is where it sits, so it will raise that. That's a tax increase of about 7.2%. And on a $100,000 home, that works out to be about $8.29 per month. So for every 100,000, you got another $8.29 per month. That is the most reasonable. I know it doesn't feel like that. Somebody told me, no, when I get my tax bill, it's like $230 more. And I said, because you were supposed to take the $8.29 and pay it every month. And it won't add up. But that's what it is. But that's about what it is. So if you don't pay it all, I mean, obviously if you don't make monthly payments, it does add up. Option number 2. This one is a little more risky, but sometimes people look at the big number and think, why do we have to, sell an $8 million bond to only get $6 million? This sells a smaller bond, but it yields a higher tax increase. So it's a sell for $7,645,000, which will make the $6 million available, but it will really shoot up the millage rate to 47.13. That's about a 13.46% tax increase, and it would be $15.52 per month per $100,000. And then there's one more option. And this is still a smaller amount, but it would yield only $5 million, which would mean that we'd have to think about something different. It would ask for $7,295,000, $3 million, and it would yield $5 million. It would raise the millage to 38, and the tax increase would be 6.2, and it'd be $7.15 per month per $100,000. And so those are the 3 options that the board will consider when we call the special meeting in a couple of weeks.
$2 million in fees.
Exactly. That's a lot of fees.
Can you answer that, John?
So the cost in running a bond program is roughly between 1 point, give and take, depends on the percentage. It costs normally between 1.5 to $3 million to actually do a bond, because there are several different factors. You have the attorney fees, then you have Oklahoma County actually have fees that are involved with the bond. So the bond would actually run through technically Oklahoma County. So Oklahoma County gets a portion of it. And then you have the syndicator also gets a fee out of it. But so it's broken, those bond fees is broken up to like 6, on top of my head, maybe 6 or 7 different areas that make up that amount of money. But for a bond to work, you have to have a syndicator. Then you have to have the county to do the bond. Then you have to have the legal fees for people who actually represents the school district. Then the legal fees that for the syndicator fee. So it's layered into different professional fees, unfortunately.
I know.
Then you got then on top of the syndicator fee, then you also have the bank charge fee. So it's like, again, 6 or 7 different fees that makes up that amount. You're welcome.
And on top of that, I have to employ an architect, and the architect is 6 to 8% of the $6 million, or whatever I end up with. So, yeah. You say you're in the wrong business.
No, but we may know an architect who works for the city, might be cheap.
So I have shopped around for architects, and unless they do the type of work that, like Fields for Futures, or somebody does where they just donate it, the standard is 6 to 8%. 8%. They don't go below it. They don't even have to bid on it. They just 6 to 8%. Yeah. Hey, ask. I'm open. The answer's always no. So any questions about those three scenarios? Yes.
Can we get a printer of that?
You absolutely can. We will send it to Frank and get it out to you. Okay?
Not color, not.
That's fine. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Thompson. All right, so I just want to give you a glimpse of what the current state of this building is. And I mean, you can compare what that building looks like to just what the building that we're in looks like. That this building is not updated. I'm showing you our building that we're sitting in is updated. So you can see the tile walls and those are divided. Those are actually classrooms that have been divided into offices. So every classroom is like 4 offices right now. Like I said, all temporary walls, but still all of that would have to come down to serve the students. Go ahead. And then the proposed bond would convert the classrooms, the offices back into classrooms. In the pre-K and K rooms, rather than add new bathrooms in the hallway, we would add bathrooms in the classroom, which would help us, I know, I see the teachers applauding, they're like, yes. Would help us tremendously with just traffic control, kids in bathrooms. Because right now what we have to do, the elementary is technically located in the original high school. So if you can imagine, the kids have to walk far to the bathroom, and then when they get there, they have to sit in the hall and wait for their friends. And so if a kid has an accident in the bathroom or anything, you got one teacher trying to manage 4 and 5-year-olds, at the bathroom. They do it every day. They do it wonderfully. Thank you very much, teachers, but it's a lot. So putting bathrooms in a classroom would be ideal, right? The commons area, right now, it hasn't been updated. It's probably still, just because it's such an open area, the most modern area of this building down there, but we're proposing something a little more kid-friendly. And so that is the model, the rendering. And if you all can see, board members, so in that great big, what you call common area, there is lots of dead space. And so the architects are proposing that we pull the walls out and we add some small spaces with glasses for special ed classrooms, tutoring classrooms, all those little pull-out things. And you can't really see this on here, but the vestibule, the security vestibule would be pulled into the building so that the parent can walk all the way up and you can see them from the office before you actually let them in. Because right now we have a security guard sitting at the door with a mirror to determine who we should let in, or you have to stand out on the sidewalk as a parent and wait till somebody gets there. And so and elementary schools is obviously where you have the most parent traffic, because we do ask for parents to get out of their car, to sign kids in, check them out. We don't send kids out the door. And so the security vestibule on there would be definitely more practical to meet the needs of little kids. And then obviously this is the common area for the elementary school, which right now they don't have. They use the cafeteria or the gym as their common area. So this would give the principal a way to meet with, groups of kids at a time and have, an open area. So the library, they have, it is, but they've pretty much turned it into a study lab. It's got a conference room in it that's been divided off, and couches and some areas to study. They don't really use it as a traditional library. And so our proposal would be to update the library. Those windows that are flat on the wall, they actually won't be flat. They will go out into the commons area as well and be like reading nooks for the kids. So it turns into a real library. The interesting thing about this is this proposal would put pre-K and 4-year-olds up to 4th grade in that south building. And then we would put 5th through 8th grade in the main building, the old high school, and obviously the high school would stay here. And it would leave the East Campus as a common area where we can do after school, we can do robotics, we can do labs, all of those things we can't expand and do now. But the good thing about this is this move will allow for every school to have their own library, their own cafeteria, and their own gym. So it will decrease the amount of traffic of kids and the safety of kids who have to walk across campus to everything, which is what we have to do now because we share space. Right now, the cafeteria, they use it as an auditorium, and the cafeteria in its current state is not a prep. It is a prep. What's it called? It's not a full kitchen. It's a prep kitchen. So we can't cook and all of that. The elementary is the largest population, about 525 kids is what we service down there. And so we can't have a cafeteria that you have to be able to cook food in there. So the cafeteria is going to have to be enlarged. We're going to knock some walls out to make it a little bit bigger, and we're going to have to add a real kitchen there because we don't have that capacity now. And so, Ms. Green, you're not saying, woo!
Oh, it's all inside.
It's all inside. That's our elementary school. I really like that one. But that is the plan. Now, there's a couple of other things on there that we just aren't, able to put in. We've got to move some walls. We've got to, we have some huge classrooms over there. That building was originally designed to be a middle school. It's got a dance room, an old band room. It's got a home ec kitchen and a photography room. All of those things are going to have to be rescaled to service young children. And so those aren't things that are fun renders, they're just moving the walls so you don't see them. But all of those would be included in the bond. And so between the lighting, the flooring, the paint, and the moving of the walls and the restrooms, what we are hoping to do is to get all that done for $6 million, and we are going to be right at the edge. The meeting of the week of the 12th, we will have the budget that will show how we're going to make all of this work. So, questions about that? No questions?
Does that include materials for like the library and stuff?
I don't know that, because we have a library now, so I don't know why books just wouldn't move. It's just me. So,
Okay.
but it doesn't include furnishings. It will include furnishings, if that was the question.
What is the meeting for, you said, for 12?
Correct. I said the week of the 12th, we haven't set it, the board would have to set it because it's a special meeting. But in that meeting, the architects will be here to present the budget. But we'll announce it. It'll be public as well. Yes.
If this were to pass, what is the timeline to pass?
Thank you. Because it is a pretty limited amount of work, you're thinking they can get it done in 6 months. Because the building's empty. Right? So, now, I'm not gonna say everybody's gonna be moving in January, Mr. Pete. I'm not saying that. But, the bond, what we're shooting for is February. For the dollars, Langston won't vacate the building until June 30th. And I said, if I knew y'all was gonna be June 30th and a half. So as soon as they get out, we can start the demo and the work on it. And they're saying about 6 months from then. So the bad part is there's not really many parts of that building we can use without renovating it. And we can't do anything for it. If anyone is wondering how we came up with moving elementary down there, it always helps to have a novice with you because they ask questions that you never think of. So Ms. Thompson had never used that south building, so she didn't know it was middle school. She had no clue. So we were thinking about how to make it a middle school and all this, and she says, why are we trying to make it a middle school? Why don't we just put elementary in? I'm like, because nobody ever thought of that. And then once we started seeing it as an elementary, for those of you that haven't been in the building, it is a very poorly constructed building. It's a very poorly constructed building. It has no continuity. It has not one hall that you can see all the way down. Lots of nooks and crannies. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there are tons of lockers in it that'll have to be removed, and the spaces will have to be modified, where the lockers are to make it, an elementary school. But it was a building that they just kept building on, kept building on, kept building on. And so one of my biggest concerns with putting middle school there is, it just wasn't safe to me. There's just too many places that somebody's kid could get caught up and get hurt. If the wrong people come into the area, because you cannot see. It has automatic fire doors that just close, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so I've never felt safe putting kids down there, which is why I was okay with putting it out to Winston. But for elementary kids, they don't go anywhere without their teacher. So it's totally fine for elementary, because they don't go anywhere without their teachers. I walked it with Ms. Green. It lays out perfectly. You can have pre-K to 2, was it? Upstairs. And then 3rd and 4th grade all in another area, and specials, it flows very well for now. Other questions? Well, so the board will discuss, or think over the options. And when we come back together, like I said, the week of the 12th, we just have to set the meeting yet. Go ahead.
I have a question. Has y'all ever thought about putting, using it as a fifth-year semester person? So put the fifth graders with eighth.
So that building, the Mila building, is so big, the 5th graders, right now, they're all by themselves. You can totally have, everybody can be separated. They don't ever have to touch and see each other. But you want the 5th grade, the idea of putting them together. I'm trying to see Ms. P, do you have teachers in here, so I'll just hear them. Is if we do 5th and 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade, the teachers can move, they can stay with the same kids. So that's kind of the thought, which helps a ton with behaviors and transitions and lots of things for middle school kids. We're also looking at some models that will put middle school kids in themed houses and things. So, and also, a lot of our transfers requests come in 5th grade. We can take a ton more 5th graders, because that's when middle school now starts in Oklahoma City. So like it or not, even if I don't like what they do, it affects us. And so, I could take 100 5th graders. And this week is like, So it is, but that building is large enough that you can separate kids. The building is huge. It's just, right now, like I said, we have 525 kids there, smaller class sizes than we would have in middle school. And we have all of the specials, and we have a robotics lab there, and we have special, it's a huge building. I think it's 20 or 29 classrooms over there, it's huge. So, and usually we have about 4 rounds or 4 classes of each, 4 classes at 25%. Yes?
Question on, the young people who are attending the school that Bill put now, are they from this community, or are they from another community? Or is it a mix of?
So they are all Falcons.
They're all what?
Falcons. But 60% of them do not live in the district.
Okay, if 60% do not live in, and that's okay, if they do not live in this community, then, you study the community that has to pay the money to support this, the school, so that we know that there's a chance, possibility that we could be, that people could be, even though it's $7 or say it's just $5
Right,
a month.
right.
Okay, if they could become, depending on, whether it's $100,000 home, 50, 70, that due to that tax procedure and the way it's done, that they could become property poor and not be able to lose their home, which would not really give you any income. It would, it would put them out of their home, and then somebody else could come in and rent it out or whatever.
I-
Not fun. So that's all been studied and all of that has been taken into consideration.
I am, yes, and I appreciate the question. And I don't want to make light of anybody, $7, $5, $3, it's your money. And I respect that. The state has allowed for transfers to happen all over the state. Anybody can go to school anywhere. That's just the law in Oklahoma. In the district, in our district in Millwood, the average age is over 60, average voting age is over 60. And so we wouldn't have enough students, just given that, to even occupy our district. And so we understand that. But whether or not I had enough students, the taxes wouldn't change. That you would still be charged the ad valorem, right, on your tax bill. But what is pushing the cost of housing and the cost of taxes is the property value, not the bond issue. That's not what's pushing it up. We don't have that amount of capacity. Because we just had so the millage rate right now has stayed around 31 to 32%. This is going to raise it slightly, but the increases have come from, well, everything in the world is costing more now, but the property value in this area is increasing. That is what's pushing it up, not, it is, so that does translate into Millwood receiving more money, but it's not because of Millwood, if that makes sense. I don't think we're driving up the property value. I mean, I'd like to, it would be a bad thing, it would be a bad thing, but it is the cost of the housing in our district right now.
But you said there's 60% that are outside the community because of that new state law. And so we're saying that there's no money coming from the state.
That is not true. So about 70% of our funding comes from the state right now. Only about 30% of the funding that comes to Millwood is through ad valorem, which is your regular taxes that you pay. The rest of it, we take heavy state aid.
You do get money from the state?
Oh, we do, yes. Our local ad valorem is only about 30%.
I thought it was.
Yes.
The money from the state is that partially figured out by the 60% who don't live in this district?
It is driven by attendance. So we get paid by average daily attendance.
So
Yes.
is that making up, because, the people who live in this district are paying the tax?
Correct.
But those 60% are not living in the district.
Right.
We're not
But,
paying the tax.
right. But state taxes fund us more than our ad valorem taxes. It's just I can't access state funding for bond. The only bond I can access is from local taxes.
Okay, then, I thought you weren't, okay, if you named 3 places where you were getting money, and if you didn't say state.
I apologize because my state dollars cannot be used on my facilities. When I talked about building fund, that's state money. When I talked about the building fund and it increased with the state, I said it was around 300,000. Those are all state funds. So that was my bad for not expressing that. Those 3 sources that I mentioned, those are people within the district or outside of the district, resources that I have found outside of bond to help with buildings. But our state dollars don't help with building, except for the building fund.
So, okay.
So, I'm hopefully I'm making sense. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say, I hear what she's saying, and I think her concern about, you said that 60 was the voting age. I've been in the district forever, like since 1970, 71, and I came as a child, and I'm that 60-year-old now, so I say that, you know, there are no children in the neighborhood, so we need the children to come from transfers.
Okay, and no, I understand that, and I have no problem with that. It was just that I didn't know that we would do that from the way you were saying it, Middleton, and you on your name.
In the county,
Uh-huh.
and Fields and Futures. Yeah, those are the people that I have gone to for help with building fund projects, so that I wouldn't have to ask the community. That's why I gave those. Because I don't want the community to think that I'm only coming to you all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So they are helping also,
correct.
as well as, definitely, money from the state is definitely not usable. I'm hearing you correctly.
It is usable,
Bond issue.
no, not by bond issue,
Okay.
only by building fund. Yes. That's a myth. ADM, which is average daily membership, is how all school districts get paid. Meaning that if Ricky is a student here and he stops going here and he goes to Edmond, then yes, Edmond gets paid for him because he's attending there. But that's just average daily attendance. If I have 100 kids, I get paid for 100 kids, no matter where they came from. So the money following the kid is a political ploy to make people think that something happens. It's just attendance based. That's all it is. It's attendance based. Because we're all funded on a student funding formula, so every kid has a weight, meaning they get, whether they're a minority student, if they're free and reduced lunch, if they speak another language, if they're special ed, every kid has a dollar attached to them. So wherever that kid goes, that money goes with them, but because of attendance, not because they're taking money from here. So whatever I get from the state is based on my average attendance for the year. So the state fixed this last year. We used to be able to use a 3-year average to get paid on attendance. Now they will only let us go back to 1 year. So if I had low attendance last year or low enrollment, that means if I had 900 kids last year and I had 1,200 this year, I only have $900 kids' money to pay for 1,200. So the state has tightened that up quite a bit, which makes it really hard for small school districts because we just don't have a lot of capital. Other questions? So the 300 or so kids that we don't take, the ability for me to recoup dollars from that is, very helpful. Obviously, the more kids we serve, the more dollars we get. But even with those dollars, like I said, those all go towards teaching and learning. Teachers, they go towards buses, they go towards administration. That's what our annual budget goes to. We just don't have $6 million anymore. Which is what bond is designed to do. Every school district has to go to their community and say, this is what we need to spend the money that you're already having to pay. Except in this case, it is an increase. Do you want to add anything, Mr. Pence? Good. Nothing? All right, well, that is all I have on bond. Mr. Pettis will give you the information as soon as we set the date for the week of the 12th for the next bond meeting, and like I said, that one, and I'll make sure I have handouts, but it'll have the full budget, so you can see all of the costs and everything that's, that we're asking for, and we'll go from there. What's that? Did Mr. Pettis invite you? Or how did you hear about the meeting? I'm sorry? Okay, all right, yeah, absolutely. If he knows you're here, he'll get it to you. If you don't wanna come, yeah, we'll definitely get it to you. And once we publish, should the board vote to go out to bond, because they have to approve it. They have to say, yes, we wanna go to bond, and this is how much, and this is when. All of that information will be public. We have to advertise it everywhere. It'll be on our website, it will be the Journal Record, it will be in Oklahoma, it'll be everywhere.
So will we be contacted by mail?
When the election happens,
When the election.
yes, it'll all be public. We always send out a flyer. Other questions? Concerns? Well. All right. I'm wondering, and people from the community, if it'd be helpful if we took a short break, and that way if you want to ask me a question you don't want to ask out loud, we can do that, or you guys all good?
When we take the break, I would like to ask, Mr. Kennison, you a question, because our community association, we found out, I would rather just discuss it.
Okay. All right.
Because I don't want to sound like,
I got you. I appreciate it.
All right, at this moment, we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and we're going to re-adjourn in 10 minutes.
He may have. Well, some of them, it don't matter about his exercise. Oh, she's ready. No, she's ready for college. She needs to. Yeah. A lot of times, I'm thinking, don't realize how hard it takes. She's not really. But she can do the work. She's good. But she just tell her to do better because she can get more scholarship money. Listen, haven't I emailed, well, I tried to email you twice. But I don't talk to her too. She said she was going to get all of Thanksgiving break. What was she talking about? She talked to but she had only done like 5 assignments out of the discussions and everything.
I came in when they said Mario. We're asking questions about state money.
Yes, no? Yes. Okay. But, yeah, I've been emailing them. I've been just, they wait till the last.
You gotta take that work with you.
Hey, Mr. Evans.
We never did get the answer.
I don't really love it.
I know.
Oh, that's all. That's the one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of depending on what
He might not.
Is that when it came back? You say when it comes to my school came in December 2nd. AP class? So on the AP classroom?
I know the AP class.
Yeah, it's my school came in December 7th.
Right.
Okay.
The one you did not.
Yeah.
I'm
Colonel Weber. Here. Colonel Weber.
Yeah, here you go.
I know, I'm like.
I do. That's delicious. Hi.
Hey, did you, see where,
Cover me?
did you see where Brenda went? There.
And then as far as the light, I noticed it looked really good.
I know, and I probably need one or two more just in case I didn't do it.
We would, we'd be able to make fish on it.
I'm not making no
What else can you make?
Well, yeah, I think on that band out, there's like, I don't know, like 15 different types of beerings right now. Yeah, we should probably get together and talk after Saturday. They're all really cute.
I just, that's clear. I wonder if you should be that nobody else has.
It was.
Well, right now, if you are one of the only ones with those.
I need plus, I need something that like nobody else has.
Julian said why they wasn't in the picture at the golf tournament.
This is the golf tournament?
Yeah, so Julian said he didn't get nothing in it, but I thought that was a cool piece. I like how you put that in there.
Oh, you talking about the, what you call it? Oh, yeah.
So, we wasn't there.
They complain about a lot.
Yeah, but you know, it really made, it was cool because this,
Peter, you excited?
oh man, they got to go play golf. Oh yeah, we're gonna have 3 more, we up to 375, we're gonna get to about 400 by the end of the 2 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You a mix to talk or are you a mix to go?
No, I'm a, they always put me on.
Okay, I was making sure. 'Cause I know I gotta change the thing.
Right now it's on me.
Oh, it is? Okay, I think you said you had to press the arrow, but.
Yeah. He changed that font and changed all my settings. I had to go back and change the colors on the word and stuff.
Ah, okay.
You give him a lot, they're like, all right. No, I did. Yeah, that's right. It's like, see, you're 50. So what's the other 3,000?
That's 3,000.
It's also like 3,900. Okay.
It's very reasonable.
You want to take 1,000? That's reasonable.
I'll look at it again. But it seems so reasonable. It's like, Let me look at it again. I'll look at it, make sure. Yeah.
I was getting to Microsoft. I did take advantage of it. I saw 650. Step up. I know it's right. Step up.
The sign, the last grade sign.
I haven't done paperwork. I haven't done paperwork. Came over and she
Miss Neal.
I was one out. Renee.
I miss Renee. Never.
I just want to much. I work psychology. Because some days I don't know how much. I thought I was just going to do it.
That's so beautiful.
I just that was not done.
Oh.
So,
Hey, Craig, you can tell us 10 times it's coming to record your mind now.
You know,
You see your camera and then you think we don't need you. That's not
oh, yeah, I got the new contact stuff.
No, that's just this. That's personal toys.
That ain't got the right man?
Yeah, see, you know about that, right?
Huh?
You know about that.
Yeah, I got one. I have in the office. I just haven't.
You sure?
I haven't. Yeah, it's for me, like for my students, but I haven't. So yeah, I've been. That's why I was looking.
What lens
Like,
you got on there?
huh?
What lens you got on there? Oh, you be using the same lens?
No. If I can say use, I use that one, but it's like a
Cinematic.
Yeah, it's like a 35 or something like that.
We might have to borrow that lens.
The address that's from the
Let me know. Have to write something down in the contract or something. It ain't me, I know. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I need to get.
Why you don't shoot? What? You don't like it? Shoot with it. It's not as good as the camera.
It is, but when it's like that's a cinema camera. When I got a DSLR, like I can take pictures on it. On those, you can, but it ain't like
It's like
how I can
video.
Yeah, it's just straight video, and then I gotta make sure.
You gotta edit the hell of it.
Yeah, all that. And one of my students, she actually used it, and it's like a different format where
They don't need using DaVinci. They don't open
I
up.
don't have to. I have Premiere, so and they use Final Cut in there, so it's like kind of choppy, slow, and all that. I ain't gonna.
That ain't it. No, not just no kids. Now, a personal camera, maybe.
Yeah.
But just I ain't gonna.
But yeah, sometimes either tomorrow or Wednesday, I need that Premiere recording. So
At least 3 of them. I'm waiting.
You know, we play freestyle, but you know, we play freestyle, right? We play freestyle, but that'd be cool, Casey. See, you don't even talk, bro. We could go.
I'm. Look at this. This is what we're doing. I know. You know who?
I emailed
He made a song. I'm like, that'll be dope.
and we had a case settle. And I had 2 officials who had them
You know, but of course it'd be a song with a bunch of people, you know. So we'll talk. Like I said, I'm trying to.
It's freestyle. You got that. You're moving. You up there on the track after this. You won't see it.
I got it.
You won't see it. Put it together.
How much one of those pops? In your,
Just go get one. You don't have a lot of choice.
How long you gonna be? Yeah, I would.
And I can you have a MacBook. I'm about to say I can airdrop you.
I know you guys like yeah. I personally, it's not necessarily for myself that I do, but I somehow make the person that really makes the high school, whatever, I should. I feel like you're more than support side of it, most attention, and I
put them in Dropbox or whatever.
That would help. Yeah.
Okay.
Pictures, so I know people want to see them, but
Yes.
I usually see them on someone else's page.
Yeah, I can definitely do that for you.
We are coming back to order. At this time, thank you. We appreciate our superintendent for that wonderful report on our bond. And is there any more questions before we move away from the bond? All right. Mayor, select the superintendent.
All righty, we'll start with Camila.
All right, good evening. So we have a few things going on in the month of December. First, we meet weekly on Monday, which is called 3 a.m. We met today, and we will meet next Monday. And yeah, isolation progress monitoring, we are testing the entire month that we are here in December. So from December 1st all the way to Thursday, December 15th. Science at Camp Rivera, the State Fair, that's where we go over science. We will be attending the Langston University math, professional development, and that's all of the new teachers that teach math on Fridays, so we will be asynchronous. And the staff will be over at the OU campus. And then you'll see the winter program rehearsal dates. Our new winter program is set for December the 15th at 10:30. In the auditorium, and then of course winter break. The dates of we're so excited. That's all I have.
Excited for winter break?
Yes, I'm excited for that.
Mr. Pete?
So bear with me, we got 30 minutes. But on the calendar, right now, as today, we started Monday on benchmark testing. Tomorrow we'll do ELA. The 7th, we'll do makeup testing. Let me go back to tomorrow. We do have a game at UConn, begin at 4 o'clock. On the 8th, which is Thursday, we have a game also in Enid, begin at 4 o'clock. And PD before break will be with Dr. Bailey next week. Basketball game at Crossing Christian, the 13th, I did mess up on the 13th. We are going to take a group of students, and they're going to sing at a nursing home, Tinker Federal Credit Union, and I forgot the one on Martin Luther King, the name of Martin Luther King. True Scott, and then we'll end it at Pittsburgh Mall at Macy's. So that's on Tuesday. Then we have a Christmas movie on the 15th, also along with the students' Christmas party. And then we also have our Christmas staff party. And I also would like to thank Superintendent and the board and everyone who played a part in making sure that we had 290 brand lockers. And the kids are excited about it, and we're excited about it. So thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Brand lockers. Come on to the lockers. You see lockers. They're nice. They all work.
Until somebody forgets their card.
Yes.
There are two documents that we're receiving. The first one is required as state that we present the Rostock report as the white copy you have in front of you. It goes to page 4, which is the first slide, second page. We notice the unadjusted rate is 2.73%, which is defined of the middle school and the high school. The middle number, 3.01, is the middle school Rostock rate. 2.56% is the high school Rostock rate. The number is the Rostock rate.
I remember dropout means that a student left us and we don't know what they might have received, which happens.
The second document we have, the winning copy, is the amazing events happening here at the high school, of course, benchmark number 2, which started today. They tomorrow, rather than moving our students from keeping them from Metro Tech, the Metro Tech students go to school here in the morning, and then in the afternoon, at 5th hour, they are collected together in one area, and they then do their free contacts. The other events, we have a baby Wi-Fi, which is sponsored by our National Honor Society. We 15 those flights that we collect will be given to the Crisis Center. Of course, our championship game on Saturday at UCO Stadium. Go Falcons. So everybody come out and cheer on our Falcons to victory. The Millwood, Mr. Pete just mentioned the Millwood choir and community outreach. And you can see the times and the locations. On the 3rd annual toy drive, sponsored by all the Dalton Franklin, Coach Franklin, 3rd annual Mula toy drive. And what we do is we bring in toys from our community, and we space those toys in the cafeteria area, and then our kindergarten students who 5th grade come over and at space times, and they get to select a toy and go home. I would encourage you to come. You can see the excitement on the faces of the students when they come in one and just see all of the toys, and then to know that they get to pick what they want. It's not given to them. Last year, we had 3 bicycles donated. So what we did based on the size of the bicycles, we took the 5th grade students, because they were that size, and we just drew names. So whatever name was drawn, that student, we drew names on the spot. It wasn't a free draw. So whichever student's name was drawn out to half, that student got that big bicycle, which was really great. There were some large items which parents had to come over and pick up those items. Another exciting time. Also with our Bureau program for UCO, we have a lot in the Leadership Institute monthly outreach meeting, and that's at the Bryant Center on the 15th. And then
received the dropout report, did you check?
She actually showed that it was reported to
Reported.
this man, in the minutes, the board minutes, this man.
All right.
The Enrichment Foundation?
Oh, yes, the enrichment, thank you, Mr. President. Friday, we took a tour bus, a village tour to the game on Friday, which was great, and funds donated by the New Enrichment Foundation, Mr. Pettis, and Representative Love. And so that was a great contribution to our community.
I think they did something else well as far as education.
Oh, and thank you, sir, education, that wasn't part of it. But they did, we have students who met, if you look on the west wall here, students who met, exceeded the benchmark scores. 3 students were given a draw for tennis shoes. That was supported by the little foundation. I think it started with me first, and I got a little jealous and went to give it to the Richmond Foundation, so they're supporting the high school as well. So thank you to the New Richmond Foundation.
And those students were students who started who performed at college ready.
Right, it's college ready level.
8th grade.
Now, I tell you, today, when we had our benchmark just coming in, and we had talked with a couple of students, and said, okay, how did you do this time? I did a Rose's score 256. What did you score last time? I think about a 241. So, and that just random students still getting numbers. So, I think our students are understanding and preparing themselves when they show the work like that. This is about it.
I believe for the first time I actually saw some excitement from kids, from the children in high school.
I received a text message today after one of the students finished their test to check to see if it was good. Well, is this a good score? I don't know.
It was a good day.
So the first recipient, I believe, was Mr. Mario Mojo, and still waiting on this instance. I haven't seen her.
She picked up her certificate today, so maybe she'll give you a call. Is she supposed to call you? She did get her certificate today.
I think it's exciting for a change.
Yeah, you want them to choose? We got 2 minutes.
Thank you.
All right. Gio?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll be short and brief. We are headed to the ship. Mr. Evans shared with you about that, and so we're excited to have the opportunity and been getting many phone calls. Also, one of the things that we are going to be participating in is what they call a kick, punt, and pass competition that we will compete against. It'll be a young lady from our school as well as from Washington, and the 2 will go out and we'll do each one of those events, and then the winner, the school will receive $1,000. So, Brent.
Let me change my person.
So Brandon and Rob will be representing us. I told us if you got some nice kicks, don't bring those. Get you a little extra set of shoes so you can be able to do some kicking, pass and run. So, also player of the game last week for the game against Victory Christian was Nico Levine. And as you can see, we'll show you this picture because that's pretty much what he was doing the whole night, just trying to go around.
Just 1 more yard.
Yes. He had 135 yards on 12 carries. He had 5 tackles for loss. And so he had a really good game. The week before, quarterback CJ was our player of the game. Played an exceptional game against the Claremore. And Ricky, they just got an 18 rotate 23 of us, going through that. But 105.3 and 92.1 selects a player of the game. And Actually, we had over 3,500 views or people watching the game at Claremont, we're playing Sequoia Claremont, as well as last week. So we have definitely a huge following of our games. Probably young man can't wait to see what happens on Friday, Saturday. So just kind of some things. Victor Christian was the team that we beat in 2016 for the state title. And Washington is the team that we will play this week, who we beat in 2017. So we also had athletes for our first game of last week against Crossings, and we had Williams as well as Atkinson were our two for the game, Zion and also Ane, and so Zion had 22 points, as well as Anaya, she had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. And so it's a game for them to kind of start out. Boys came up short, girls won on the last second bucket, so it was a great game. This week against Destin Christian, we had to move that game from Friday to Saturday. Brandy was player of the game for our girls, 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals. But she did foul out this game, so I was proud of her. So she did a good job. Hard fought game, girls still kind of working and gelling, but they're definitely getting a lot of rotation on the bench. So we're proud of the job that Miss Coach Albert and her staff is doing. Also, we had Bubba at 31 points. Destin Christian came in there thinking they was going to beat the brakes off of us. And so our boys came in and we couldn't make a couple free throws at the end. And matter of fact, after the game, after we came out of the locker room, we went back to the free throw line to practice. But those young men doubled almost the number of points they did in the first game. And Destin Christian excited, but they don't realize we're not even at full strength. And so that just tells you what our future looks like. I'm excited for these young men, for the effort that they're doing, and Coach Jefferson and staff. We will have a holiday classic coming up December the 20th. Our first game of the season has always been against Heritage Hall, but we both were in a situation where a lot of our players were on the football field, and so we decided to do a holiday classic. And what we're going to do is that we have selected a family from here that we are going to provide Christmas gifts for. So Heritage Hall has split the list up between the whole family. We're going to provide even gifts for mother and father, as well as for the kids. So we divide it down the middle. So our basketball teams will provide gifts for the twins, as well as the father, and then Heritage Hall will take care of the other half of that family. And then we're going to present it to the family as gifts, wrapped, during between the boys and the girls game on December 20th, which will be the Tuesday after we're on break. So we're going to break on Friday the 16th, and then we'll transition to that on the 20th. Upcoming events, as we said, we have a tournament this coming week, Thursday through Saturday, working with them to make some adjustments. So if for some reason we play at 1 o'clock on that Saturday, we will adjust the time so that our kids can be able to be at the state championship game. Sometimes they even have, it's not there, or adjust the time. So Dale tournament will be located at, and Dale has a really good team. We only get invited to tournaments when people think they got good teams. Just want to let y'all know that. So they want to test to see where they are. So looking forward to seeing how that's going to look. The 16th, we have Douglas, which is softball on the hardwood. That game is being advertised as a very high-profile game. It's going to be deep. So, get your ticket, get there early, because seating will be definitely at capacity. Home game, yes sir. Home game. Douglas had a young man enough, Elsie, a senior, that came over to Douglas, and they are ranked as one of the top teams in Florida. So it's going to be a really good game. Oh, okay. Must be somebody I didn't know. All right. So if you're talking about the other boy, that don't count. what to say. But, and then I want to share also with you about the Watersfield tournament that will happen the first week in January, but it will happen before we return back to the board meeting. So I just want to share with you all that our basketball team will be traveling to Watersfield for a 3-day tournament when we return back to school. Coming in from middle school, I know he said across from Christian, but it's really community Christian. You know, all them C's are all the same, so you can't tell the difference. Yeah, my wife said, okay, you gotta tell me, is it Cross or is it Norman? You know, that's kind of how we have our landmarks to know where we're going. So, and then we have Crooked Oak when we come back after work. And then Harry Shaw as well. Wanted to notice if y'all seen something that looks familiar to that out on the, we have a falcon, we have a lightning bolt that has been planted where the old tree we had for many, many years. And so now it is a lightning bolt. Now, one thing I'm going to have to change, you know, I like the black trim over the blue, but you know, other than that, he did a good job. So, just when you get a chance, he's wanting to talk about putting something on the other end for our football team and teams that come out to touch, kind of like Clemson does for their football team. So working with us on something like that. So football coaches want to do something to contribute that to the program. So. And that's my report. Any questions? Okay.
So I'm going to add to Coach Hayes' report. Brad will put on Who's that listening to?
Oh, he says you'll brag on who?
The band.
Oh, yes. yes. The band was at the Sequoia Claremore game, and I really the one from the superintendent, but there was a minister and his wife who just enjoys coming to the football game, and they wrote a letter to our band director as well as our school, complimenting him on how disciplined and how well our kids were, how they performed. He just enjoyed it. And he even he says, your program is one that people need to look at and model after. So he really admired what it is. So today in the superintendent's office, we were talking with Mr. Wilson, and he's like, well, I don't know if I can be able to do something. I said, look, if Jesus is sending you letters, man, you can do it. You can do it. So we're truly proud of the work that he's doing as well. And we did even support Claremore.
The superintendent of Support Claremore sent an email to compliment us on our cheer and the fan enthusiasm, and then he put, and the band was amazing. I'm like, I thought it was all right too, but okay, the band was amazing. And then I had another colleague on Friday night. He was from Pauls Valley, and he said, I stayed longer than I should have, but your band kept playing. So I said, well, I'll stay and keep listening to the band. So folks are really, really noticing the hard work that Mr. Wilson and our meetings put in and really appreciating it. I don't know if you guys understand how big of a deal it is to get a letter from someone, you know, for somebody to go home and think about it and write us back. So it's pretty awesome to get two in 1 week about the band. So.
And they really enjoy a lot of the conversations with people. So last week my bill was paid at the pharmacy because I was Millwood. But I pulled up to get my prescription, and the lady said, oh, you Millwood, I got one case. So what's your name? I said, oh, yeah. So she went and got my prescription and came back and said, well, how much? She says, oh, it's free. When you're a champion, you get things for free. Thank you.
All right. We have no enrollment or transfer appeals. I'm going to go ahead and put the treasurer's report. All right, treasurer's report, you have it. You can see we are still fighting cash flow. we are at a point where we have to spend money in order to recoup it. So we are in the process of claims and they are rolling in. But we are really, really tight on cash. But January promises to be better. But right now, we're just part of the cash flow will be this, special discussion and possible motion to approve the supplemental appropriations for the general fund, in the amount of $1,687,791.73 and $198,500 to the building fund. First million was to the general. So that appropriation is because we put out cash and we have to get it back, and then the appropriation of the supplement is to receive it. So that's what that is. So that does require a vote.
All right, do I have a possible motion to approve the supplemental appropriation for the general fund and the building fund? So moved by Ms. Hyde, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Richardson.
Mr. Provo,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson, Ms. Richardson. Yes. Ms. Hyde. Yes. And Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Denver Board of Education uses a consent agenda during school board meetings. Item number routine nature, normally approved at board meetings, will be approved by one vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all items. The consent agenda consists of the consideration, review, and discussion of possible motion to approve the following items as listed under the appropriate category and identified individually by numbers in their alphabet. Items 10A, 10B, 11A, and 11B. And do the board have any questions on the consent agenda? I think it's very clear.
And on the proposed general business, the activity fund summary of accounts, we weren't able to close out in November yet. And so you just have the balances and the activities in each account for this past month. And as soon as Ms. Neal completes it, we will forward the closeout of each month.
Any questions? Or do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved by Mr. Wilson, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hyde.
Ms. Richardson. Yes. Mr. Provo.
Yes.
Ms. Hyde. Yes. Mr. Wilson. And Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am. All right, the next item on the agenda is, do we have any business for tonight?
Yes, I have two items. The first item is for payment to our landscaper for tree removal, not the lighting, but tree removal on campus. Somehow we left it off of our general fund operation. So that amount is for $4,750. And these are the nice people who took the tree out of my parking space. Dead tree, allegedly dead tree. As well as all the other dead trees around campus and cut back trees near buildings and around the preschool. So it was very necessary. But we need to pay.
Do I have a motion?
No, but you have to vote on the second.
Do I have a motion to approve? So moved by Ms. Hyde, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Provo.
Ms. Richardson. Yes. Mr. Wilson. Mr. Provo.
Yes.
And Ms. Hyde. Yes. And Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And the next one is permission for our band, who has been invited to a battle of the bands in Memphis, Tennessee, this Sunday, to attend that event. It would be, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the actual flyer. It would be, a turnaround. They would leave on Saturday, what would be Sunday morning, at 3 in the morning, and then return Monday morning, 3 in the morning. So, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. But it is a competition that they have the opportunity to win money and obviously to showcase their talent. And they would, also have the opportunity to audition for, college scholarships. And they have trophies, they have trophies for percussion, for dancers, overall best dancers, and a flag trophy, as well as obviously the band trophy. And the band competition is broken down by size, but unfortunately in this medium it is, well, so, this didn't make it to the, board agenda item because we needed to make sure we could secure funding. Mr. Wilson was willing to take the kids on the school bus, but we don't have the capacity to run to Memphis and turn around and run routes on Monday morning. I just don't have drivers like that. So we had to find a charter bus, and we had to find funds for charter bus. And Mr. Provo came through, got a war bonus down there, trying to get money for everybody. So, they've got the money. They've got the money to go. So, I would recommend that we go out and, so they'll play at the football game, and go home, take it out, and go, and come back. That's how it's going. The two band members right here, so that's how we're gonna do it. So, I would recommend, that they be able to attend the Fremont High School, what do they call it, the in-town, something, band competition, in-town, showdown in town is what it's called. And they are also going to attend, they can go to lunch, and I think they're going to go to the Blues Museum, the Jazz and Blues Museum as well.
And what are the dates?
December the 11th, Sunday. So they will be excused, they'll have an activity excuse day on Monday. Right, Commissioner?
Correct.
All right, do I have a motion? So moved by Ms. Hunt. Do I have a second by Mr. Wilson?
Ms. Richardson,
Yes.
Mr. Provo,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson, Ms. High. Yes. And Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any statement of public concerns?
No. Oh, Adam.
I would say, wrong voice. All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
This is where I can say no to this. But no, you don't need to.
Oh.
The parent that asked for this appeal is not present, so there's no need to go. And the proposed executive session for employment submitted a letter of resignation. See, I mean, no.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting for today? So moved by Mr. Provo, second by Ms. Hyde.
Second,
Ms. Hyde.
Ms. Richardson,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson, Ms. High. Yes. Mr. Provo, and Mr. Hunt.
Yes, ma'am. Meeting adjourned.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to go grab my camera.
Yeah, mine is graduating.
You're right. And I just pulled out our notes. That is the number that you.
Okay.
Get it?
Because in the email it says 650. Oh, that's a great level. Yeah. And then you click on it, 650. No, so I thought maybe it was down. Is it this? Like $3 grand?
Don't forget, I don't know. Migration. Got all of every. I know.
Usually there's always a
Right. I mean, if we're only, really, at the library. Yeah, I did it. It's only gonna be more information. Get it, that's right. Yeah, I'll like, see.
Yeah. But also talking per student.
Fifth grade already. Fifth grade,
Yeah, really, just a spot.
Oh,
Server. It's not
We just have to keep calling Tim. Tim, hey, shake it back again.
I met a few other workers.
Thank you.